Hey guys, it's VeVe, and I am back again to do a more extensive question and answer interview now. It's really neat that you sent me so many questions, and some really good questions, but so many that I probably won't get to all of them, so I'm going to see what I can do without, wasting your whole night listening to me talk. Without further ado, just to get right into it, the first question that I got, appropriately, is how I got started wrestling. And that's actually really funny because it was a fluke, actually, though a lucky one. I'd always kind of had in the back of my mind, since I, in a totally random, one-off sparring match with a boyfriend in college, managed to win, that this was something that was fun and I was probably really good at and I should do again. But I never got a chance because said defeated boyfriend didn't want to do that again. But when I got to New York after college, I was randomly invited to a wrestling party, or actually a party where there were wrestling mats on the floor. And it was one of many things going on. And I was like, ooh, I want to try that thing because, by the way, I'm really good at this. And I happened to be suddenly thrown in with people that actually knew what they were doing. And I learned that I wasn't quite the natural genius at this that I thought I was, but that there were places to learn and that it was really fun. So I kept in touch with everyone I met at that party. I met up, I trained, I practiced. Eventually I decided I really wanted to get serious and actually started training legitimately. And really I never looked back once I found a way in. So I'm just really glad that I happened to get that invitation that night. And it took me onwards and upwards up till now, by incredibly good luck. And the next question that looks like that I can speak to, somebody's asked if I prefer wrestling men or women and why, and I don't even think it's fair actually to try to pick because there are different challenges to each. When I first started going to my wrestling gym, it's almost all men, of course. More men do this. And I thought, oh, this is going to make me super tough and I'll be way better. And if I ever wrestle another girl, I'm just going to kill her because I train with guys. And then I found out that all the other girls also train with guys. They're equally used to fighting big people. And to actually, commit to doing this in a really topsy-turvy, 95% male training environment, the other girls that do this are tough as nails. So, yeah, you can go up against, big guys, they're strong, blah, 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 blah. Then you go against these girls that are, used to that, and that are also fast, and they have all the advantages I have. So they're both really challenging. And what's fun is just when you have an opponent that matches you and you have an amazing match and you manage to win at the end after a really hard match. That's fun, and I'm perfectly happy if that's a man or a woman. I know that wasn't fair. I didn't answer the question, but I like them both, and I guess that's an answer. Okay, question number 3 was, what is my current competitive record against other top female wrestlers? And I've got to say, I haven't actually kept a formal record. I have won some and lost some, I will say. And the person asked also if I've lost any matches and don't want to spoil the outcomes. What can I say about it? And also, I don't give away outcomes, actually. But what I can say is, if I've lost a match, I'm looking for a rematch, and I hope that person will take me up on it. And also, if I've ever had a draw with someone, I would love to hash it out and have that rematch also. So that's more of a heads up. Look forward to it than an answer, but always excited for bettering that record. Without saying that it's a bad record, because I've had awesome matches too, but always excited to carry it on and forward. let me see. And someone also asked me how I got started doing the rope tie matches. And that, God, I feel like I just keep saying I was so lucky, but I have been so lucky because people have come to me with amazing ideas like at the right time. The rope tie wrestling I got from a guy that had the idea already and asked me if I would like to do that kind of match with him. And I was like, let me try it. And I discovered that this was like the best idea ever. And it's good in so many ways because it can actually even out a skill difference, because even a very experienced wrestler is not necessarily experienced at being able to tie somebody up. It can take a match that could have been over way too soon and make it go forever. But at the same time, once you get finally to that conclusion of having tied the person up, like, it couldn't be more over. It's very empowering, it's very decisive, and it's very exciting when you've been able to work this artistry as well as this physical power on somebody. And at the same time, it's the biggest incentive ever not to let them do it to you. So my huge, enormous thanks to that guy for such a great idea. And as I've continued to play with that, I've learned that, just like wrestling, there are techniques, there are tricks. You can become experienced and more skilled in this tying style, and it's really fun for me to try different nuances and different opponents and to really make that thing grow and become exciting to more and more people, too, as people start to see it and get equally excited about it. And let me see, I put out a last-minute Twitter call for questions. I said, I'm doing this interview now, send me your last-minute questions. And awesomely, someone did, so I definitely want to take that question. And that question was, what % of guys expect to beat me when they come in for a match? And I will say, surprisingly not many, because we'll talk about having a match beforehand, and they'll usually expect, as they're talking to me, that they can beat me, and they'll say, oh, well, I'm this big and I'm this tall. They'll expect even more so that I'm going to not agree to do the match. They'll be like, oh, they're too big for me. And I will always say, no, that's fine. I'll usually say I've wrestled someone bigger, because the biggest person I ever wrestled was 330 pounds. And they're usually like, oh, okay, I'm not that big. And I'll just tell them that experience will trump size and strength really pretty consistently. I'll ask them if they wrestle, and a lot of guys don't. They just think they're going to get by on being bigger and stronger. And when I tell them, experience is going to have out, fortunately, they're not so arrogant they don't believe me. They come in, we actually do the match. They're not too surprised that they lose, though they can be surprised how quickly they lose. And conveniently, luckily for me, they're usually not shitty about it. They're usually just impressed. They're like, wow, that was enlightening. And also, the response is often, oh my god, I've got to start learning to wrestle. Often I'll see them for a rematch sometime later and say, hey, have you been practicing? And they'll hang their head in shame and say, no. I'm like, well, you haven't gotten any better, so I'm going to beat you just as easily again. All right, so my apologies for questions I didn't cover, but so as not to make this less fun, let's just cut it off there and say that's what I got for you tonight. Keep sending questions, and I might also come back to some I skipped, and I might take new questions if we do this again. But for now, happy holidays, and to all a good night.